We're swinging back over to basketball here, and as we do that, the NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. If you got a read on someone who's heating up, why not back it up with a same-game parlay? And if you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. You head over to FanDuel.com/UCSS and you place your first $5 bet. If that bet wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment of the NBA playoffs more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
I put on Mike and Jason when they started the Ultimate Cavs show at, 8 this morning or 9?
8, yeah.
8. And then like a minute in, and it was unfair because I don't know what you guys had to say after that. But I'm so sick of the two of you talking about how you can't trade anybody.
I told you I'm going to have trades for you next Tuesday.
All right, good.
I'm
then I was like, I'm not listening to these
Tuesday.
guys tell me that you have to keep Darius Garland because he's better than all the players everybody wants to trade for, and yet nobody wants to trade for him.
I have 6 trades for you on Tuesday.
Good. It's about freaking time.
Well, I want to do it with G here. If G was here today, we would have done
my
today.
trades.
What about me? Because I want to be here.
What about
I
him?
think that Darius Garland should be traded too.
Yeah.
I'll send them to Dustin. We'll have
Well,
Dustin
give us one
zoom
right
in.
now. Come on. Give us one right now.
You want one
Give us one of the 6 possibilities.
Do you want
right
a fun one?
No, give us something that might be
Here,
realistic.
Jason likes this one a lot more than I do.
Okay.
Would you trade Darius for Michael Porter Jr.?
Absolutely not.
I would say no in a heartbeat. Jason said he'd think about it.
I'd think about it.
All right, give me more on Michael Porter Jr. I feel like I don't have a good feel for him.
6'10", 3-point shooter with back issues. Plays no defense, gives you no rebounding. Doesn't pass, but great 3-point shooter.
A 6'10" guy who can't do anything besides shoot?
Yes. But great shooter.
Great shooter. What did he average a game this past year?
Like 17. Playing with
Is he
Jokic.
tough?
Non-existent.
No, he doesn't play any defense.
Championship pedigree.
does have a
Non-existent in the
championship pedigree.
playoffs.
What's that?
Like non-existent in the playoffs.
He was not. Why?
I
did
know.
he was-
Trust me, I know.
he was
I
bad
took a lot
this-
of his overs.
He was hurt in the playoffs this year. He was a big part of their championship team 2 years ago. He was much
Yeah.
better then.
Right.
But he's a 6'10" guy, shoots the living piss out the basketball,
Yeah.
doesn't do anything else.
Yeah,
With back injury.
all those
history.
Nuggets guys always look so impressive, don't they? They're like physically impressive.
Because they're long and they're
Yeah.
tall, they're athletic.
He was the #1 high school prospect coming
He's not
out.
tough. Is he tough?
He plays through injuries.
But he doesn't play.
But
How
doesn't,
does he
like,
play no defense at 6'2"? I don't want that guy.
I
want a
would-
guy that plays defense and is physically tough.
Then Michael Porter Jr. is not your answer then,
That's not my answer. Why does Jason like that trade?
because he's 6'10" and can shoot,
And he's a scorer.
score,
Yeah.
gives you more options.
In the end, I would do it, though, because I want Darius Garland off the roster.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
kind of the same way. And it has nothing to do with him personally. It's just that I don't think it's a good fit here. Didn't think it was going into this year. He happened to have a really good regular season. The Cavs, as a whole, they all played really well in the regular season. But boy, in the playoffs, I got to tell you, I don't like the fact that he missed the game with the 2 games with the toe. Like
4 games, including
4 games.
The Miami. Whatever they were going to win that
I'm not
series.
thinking about that series. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about the most recent series against the Pacers, a team that you've struggled with all year, and you missed the first 2 games. And then you play.
And then he played, and he didn't look 100%.
Up
but
and down.
No, I know,
Had
but
his
I
moments.
know, but he was out there, and he was shooting the hell out of the basketball, which he probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But the point is, all of a sudden, what happened?
And it was all pain tolerance the whole time.
Yes,
That was the thing.
that's-
It wasn't. There was no risk of re-aggravating the injury. It was.
Yeah.
I got a problem with all
It's
those guys
pain
not playing,
tolerance
dude.
stuff, yeah.
All those guys should have been playing.
I mean, I used to feel like I
Hunter,
can't criticize
Mobley,
the guy.
all them cats should have been playing.
It just
Sorry.
seems like if I were in the playoffs, if I had that opportunity,
Cut
that
my
I'd
arm
play.
off. Whatever.
Let's go.
This is not the first round. You're not playing the freaking Hawks.
If anyone hasn't heard it yet, go listen to the 11-minute clip from the Road Trippin' podcast with Richard Jefferson, Channing Frye, and Kendrick Perkins talking about this Cavs team. Anything that we have said, G. Bush, Jason, Jay, the 3 of us, is, to steal a word from G, minimoski in comparison to how those 3 discussed the level of toughness within the Cleveland Cavaliers.
And they talked about them not playing with the injuries.
Absolutely eviscerated them
And that's
for
the
not
thing.
playing.
And that's why I don't feel bad, because usually I'll feel bad being critical of somebody who doesn't play through an injury, because I'm like, well, I didn't play. I don't know how tough it is to play in that situation. I feel like if I were in good shape and I were young and I were an athlete, I'd play through anything. But I'm not in that situation. But when former players are saying, these guys are soft, they should play, that tells me all I need to know.
I'll make sure I tweet it out in case anyone hasn't seen it.
I saw some
it's
of it, but I
worth
didn't see the whole thing.
11 minutes. It's
I'm gonna
worth your time.
I'll watch it.
I'll paraphrase real
Yeah.
quick. Channing Frye said that he couldn't believe Jared Allen missed time last year with his little wibby injuries, is how he called them, little wibbies.
Yeah.
Which,
Little
when you get
wibbies,
an
wubby
NBA
wibbies.
champion calling you out for that,
Calling him a baby, basically.
tough. You had Richard Jefferson saying in game 2 when all 3 guys sat, he goes, all right, one of us has to go. We can't have all 3 of us sit, like, unless
Right.
you're dying, who's the healthiest? You got to
Yeah.
get in there. He said if, a puppy doesn't bark as a puppy, he ain't going to bark
And that's
as a...
it. And that's why
and-
they have to trade Darius and they have to trade Jarrett. And I get it, Mobley didn't play one game either, but I can't. I'm keeping him,
Yeah, you're not blowing up the
and
entire
I'm keeping
thing.
Donovan
Yeah.
Mitchell. I keep my 2 best players, and I got to shake up the rest of the
We
team.
need more guys like Donovan. Donovan
Yeah.
Donovan wouldn't miss a game.
No, Donovan.
Now he
I
did
mean-
miss last year against Boston, but
No, I know, but
Well,
I
that
mean,
he must have not been.
I
able to
believe the guy
possibly
probably
play.
couldn't walk.
Yeah.
Steph Curry missed 4 games with a
Right.
both hands.
He
No
must
one's
have not
questioning
been
Steph Curry
possible
stuff.
for him to
Yes.
play.
For Donovan not to play, he's really
Yes.
hurt. Like
Yeah.
he gets that benefit of the
I
doubt.
agree.
So-
I'd be asking Donovan, like, dude, who you want to play with?
Well, that leads us right into the next topic, though, which is where we're getting to today. And we did discuss this on the Ultimate Cavs show this morning. But if the Cavs were to make some major shakeup and ship Darius Garland out for whoever, for the sake of today, let's say Michael Porter Jr., just because he doesn't play the point guard position,
Yeah.
do you guys think Donovan could be your full-time point guard? Would you want? Is that a smart
why
move
not?
to put Donovan in that position for an 82-game season?
Yeah, why? I mean, you got to have a good backup so he doesn't have to play, 40 minutes a game as the point guard. But I mean, I'm okay.
I guess what's the role of the point guard if it's going to be Donovan?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, would it change?
There's like 4 real.
He's not a traditional point guard.
There's 4 real point guards, 3 or 4. Like if you squint, you can find that 4th. But like Tyrese Halliburton's the only high-level point guard
Steve Urkel.
in basketball who plays in the old traditional like point guard way, like pass first,
Yeah.
facilitate. Almost everybody's a combo
Like 14.
guard.
He had the perfect game last night.
15 assists, no turnovers for the 10th time in his career.
It's unbelievable.
That's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
He had 29 and 9 in the first half. He was incredible.
What year was he
last night.
drafted?
The same year that Cavs took Okoro.
Didn't the Kings draft him?
Yes,
And what'd they trade him for?
Sabonis.
Good trade.
Nah.
Where was he drafted that year?
11th?
What year was this again? I'm
It
sorry.
was the COVID year. It was the COVID draft year. The Cavs took Okoro. Apparently, Halliburton said, "Don't draft me to Cleveland," because they already had Darius.
Mobley said the same thing.
I'm just telling you that's. But I think Donovan is more than capable
Oh yeah.
of playing point guard. I don't think it's smart to make him your full-time point guard, and I'll explain why in a sec. But can he? Is the question. Can? Yes, 100% he can. But you go back to the Indiana series, right, Bull? When Darius was hobbled and not at the full capacity, and they didn't have DeAndre Hunter for spurts. Did you see how hard it was for Donovan to create for himself, rather less getting everyone else involved? The reason the Cavs offense in the regular season worked to I know you're going to throw
relevant.
Work
Yeah.
to the level it is Kenny Atkinson believes you need 2 shot creators on the court at all time from the backcourt. Mobley counts, but he's a front court player. He's not the backcourt guy.
Yeah.
He believes you need 2 guys to get the ball into the crevices, get feet in the
Yeah.
paint, cause a rotation, kick out. When they didn't have Darius, for better or worse, this isn't a Darius conversation, it was all on Donovan to do that by himself. And Indiana was able to send doubles. They were able to send help. They were able to force him into the spots they wanted him to get to. And I think that's part of the reason why his body broke down. So I just don't think moving him to the 1, unless you have
Okay.
another answer as a combo guard to put with him, would make sense for the Cavs.
But
long
why
term.
can't they get another point guard in a different deal? Or
They can't. No, I'm
And
just saying.
by the
in
way,
a vacuum here, does it make sense?
if you
I don't think it makes
trade
sense.
Darius for another very good player at a different position,
Mm-hmm.
and then you trade Jared Allen, essentially to get some cap relief and maybe some draft picks or whatever, and then you'll have some flexibility to make some other moves.
Yes, it takes 2 to tango on a lot of those things, and it's a lot
Okay,
of ifs,
sure.
and if this happens, then this happens.
I know, but that's what That's his job. I mean, what else has Kobe Altman doing?
I'm not saying it
Are
wrong.
you guys happy with Kobe? When we were praising the hell out of this guy.
I'm willing. Listen, I think
ago.
overall he's done a good job.
Yeah,
he's put together a talented roster. But now
it was a ballsy move to bring everyone back, and it looked like it was going to pan out.
But now that it didn't in the playoffs again, I think it's imperative on him, and I'll give him. I think he deserves the chance to do it.
Yeah, you can't make moves right now anyway. So anyone saying this has to happen, it's not.
No, you can't do anything till
end of the year. New year.
When is that? End of June?
Yeah,
or
July 1st to start a free agency.
right. He, I don't care what he said in the press conference. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's going to say what he has to say.
He's got to. He cannot. To me, it's a failure if he brings. If Jared Allen and Darius Garland are both on this team next year, it's a failure. They have to have different guys in the mix. The same mix doesn't work because they don't have enough dogs on this team. I think that's very clear.
Yeah.
You're not. And I don't know if Evan Mobley's ever going to become a dog. And if he doesn't, ultimately, I don't think they're winning the championship. But you got to hope he does because he's their most talented guy besides Donovan and maybe their most talented guy, period. But your best chance of him becoming a dog, you got Donovan Mitchell, who
surround him with
with guys that maybe even if they're less talented, but you need guys like that with some edge to their play. And they need to have a player. They need to have one guy that's like a badass on the court. They don't have any badasses.
Well, in a perfect world, take all the cap stuff out.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to ask you this. You okay?
Yeah.
Take all the cap stuff out. None of the second April, none of that matters.
Yeah.
If you could pair Evan and Donovan with a third star, who do you think, and you take anyone you want. Like, I'm serious, anyone you want.
Anyone?
Yeah, and then we'll pare it down to find, who do you think is the perfect third star with them?
The perfect?
Yeah.
I guess Giannis, right? Is he perfect?
He's
certainly in the conversation. I think it's preference. Like, you can pick Jokic, and obviously he fits Giannis.
Well, maybe Halliburton.
Halliburton and Donovan in a backcourt together would be no joke.
Yeah.
Unstoppable. Because you wouldn't be able to stop either one of them at any given time to get to the basket. Double one of them. Okay, great.
Right.
That would be the ideal backcourt. And Tyrese is so damn unselfish.
Oh.
And the pace at which he plays. And So I was listening to Bill Simmons this morning with Zach Lowe. And Zach Lowe, I think
he's great.
He's the smartest non-basketball player I've ever found podcast. He knows the ins and outs so well. He was listing names of players who have taken a team by stranglehold, basically, and forced everyone to play his style. Right? Like when he got to Indiana, they traded for him. They brought him in. In 2.5 years, they've completely revamped.
Right.
Remember Rick Carlisle when he won the championship with the Mavericks? They played slow. They played deliberate. They ran.
These games were in the 80s.
And obviously basketball's changed, but now they are like the fastest team you could possibly imagine.
Right.
Why? Because that's what Tyrese Halliburton does better than any other player in basketball. And the Cavs, whether it's Donovan, whether it's Evan, whether they can turn Darius and Jared into something else, whether it's turning Max Strus and other pieces, they need to find what is our identity that you can't take us out of. What can we do that regardless of whether shots are falling or not? OKC, by the way, three-point percentage has dropped from 8th overall in the NBA in the regular season to the second worst three-point shooting team in the playoffs. They are one win away from a championship. Why? Because when push comes to shove, they're still the best damn defensive team we've seen in 20 years. What can the Cavs do with whatever the current iteration of the team is next year? Not what we had this year. What is next year? What can we establish that regardless of everything else, you can't take us out?
When the shots are not falling. And they weren't for the Cavs.
And with the Pacers, we're still going to run. We're still going to wear you out. We're going to give you tired legs by the end, and we're going to score in transition. For OKC, we're going to suffocate you defensively and turn defense into offense. The Cavs did not have that this year.
No.
None of it. They need to have it next year if they're going to take that
Who's
step.
the most realistic best third player they could get in a perfect world?
I mean, Giannis, in theory, is available. That question without an answer in my mind. So, Dustin, who do you think? And I'll get back to you in a second.
Realistic?
Yeah. Well, that makes it much
I have
tricky.
no idea. Man.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly,
in terms of realistic, it's hard to come up with an answer off the top of your head. But what about
I'm the worst at these NBA things?
Yeah,
it's
the
salaries and who's
if we're ignoring
it's a pain. The salaries are such a pain in the
if you're
ass.
doing it
It's
realistic,
such a
then you got to factor in the salaries.
I know
it's such a pain in the ass.
You're the one with the six potential trades.
Who's the best player?
Yeah, no,
None of it's realistic.
Who's the
they're
best?
all realistic, but it's not landing a player if we're saying who changes the complete
Mike,
trajectory.
Maybe
of the
nobody
franchise.
does. Maybe it's addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
Maybe,
in some
maybe
ways.
turning Darius and Jarrett into 4 good, nice players is the way to go.
So Jason and I talked about this morning, actually. There hasn't been, and I'm going to say this and then I'm going to get to in the history of the NBA, turning a star into pieces never works. The difference is now with the second apron and all these cap construction constraints, you may have to be able to fill out a roster that's deep enough to contend. Indiana has 2 players that are better than the rest of their team. But they're 3 through 8, 3 through 9.
They're just solid, good players.
On any given night,
Yeah.
Neesmith could be their 3rd best player.
Right.
Nemhart could be their 3rd best player. Turner could be their 3rd best player. Matherin was awesome. He had 13 points in 11 minutes. Like, they're deep in a sense. OKC's the same way. They
Did
have
the
their
Pacers
top 3.
have anybody make the top 3 All-NBA team?
Halliburton was an All-NBA 3rd team.
3rd team.
Yeah.
So they don't even have a top 10 player.
Technically, no. And I don't believe Halliburton's
Oklahoma
top 10 guy.
City's got 1 top 10 player. It's not like these.
Yeah.
There's no super teams anymore, really.
No. Now we have to see, Indiana, this is the
Yeah.
second year in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
We'll see if this is a 1-year blip with some weird things or if
Well, it's
that's
not a 1-year blip. It's a.
well, they got swept in the Eastern Conference Finals
That's
last
true.
year.
Fair.
But is it a 1-year thing where they got incredibly lucky and hot? Is it sustainable? I don't know. And Jason replied when I asked him, hey, has it ever worked to trade a star into pieces? And the track record says no, but this is a different era of team building.
But wait a sec. Give me an example of that.
Like when the Nuggets traded Carmelo to the Knicks for Ronaldo Bachman, Ray Felton, Gallinari, and like turning that into pieces.
Well, but what did it do for the Knicks? They didn't win anything.
Nothing. I'm just saying. Very rarely do you trade away a star and get
I
pieces
know, but
back.
weren't the Knicks the team that got Carmelo Anthony?
Yes.
So they didn't do anything either.
So no one won that trade.
Right. Okay, but give me the
But
Darius Garland is not a superstar. He's an
You
all-star.
go to any star.
He's not a superstar.
Turning a star
and
into
Jared
pieces.
Allen is not even. I mean, he's.
What's Darius Garland if he goes somewhere else? I mean, is he still an all-star?
Yeah, right. The NBA. It's all
He's
about
not an all-star on a bad team.
Yeah, he is.
He is.
Wait, LaMelo, he's gonna put up LaMelo Ball numbers on a bad team.
You think he's going to be that good statistically, as good as LaMelo?
Yeah, he averaged 20 and 7 here as the 2nd and a half option. If he's the number 1 option, he could average 25 and 8, 25 and 9.
Yeah, but maybe the defense is more focused on him, and he's so tiny.
But no one plays
Yeah,
defense in the
he'll
regular
shoot
season.
6 more threes a game.
Yeah.
The point
You
is,
see what I'm saying? Like it's opportunity.
but what are the trades you said? Jason said the star for the role players doesn't work. Well, what's the example if it didn't work?
I just gave you one.
But it didn't work for either team.
That's the point.
One example from like 20 years ago. I mean, what's more?
Because it doesn't happen.
You want to talk about the Kevin Durant trade? I mean, like.
Yeah, but you want the Durant trade?
The Paul George trade worked for Oklahoma City.
But that was a prospect in like 70 picks as opposed to pieces. You're not trying to get picks here. You're trying to get role
give me
players.
an example where it didn't
I'll tell you,
work.
it doesn't happen. That's what I'm saying.
So you can't say it doesn't work if it doesn't happen.
I didn't say it doesn't work. I said there's no track record of it working because it doesn't happen.
So
you see what I'm saying, Dustin?
There's no track record of it not working either.
There are trades.
What I'm saying is, I think that's best for the Cavs.
And what we're saying is there's a new era of basketball where you may have to do that.
Yes.
So because of it not happening before doesn't mean it can't happen in the future.
The reason we're going to probably see an Indiana Oklahoma City final is because not because of the level of superstardom on those teams, it's because they have depth of good players. Both of those teams have good depth of good players, contributors.
Yeah.
Who are not like the Cavs' depth that we thought they had is garbage.
I don't think
those guys couldn't.
I don't think you were on the day I was on because Jay Crawford was sitting in that seat. So he haven't worked with Jay in a while. But he was like, "What do you think we've learned from the 8 finalists?" And I was like, "They all have playoff depth. Mm-hmm. The Cavs don't have playoff depth.
No,
they have 4.5 guys. I think you can trust in a playoff series. 4.5. OKC, Minnesota, Indiana, and even the Knicks.
Yeah.
Have at least 6. At least 6 and then some more depending on what team you're looking at.
I'd say Indiana has 8.
Well, I said at least 6.
Yeah.
The Knicks are the one with 6. Everyone else has at least one more than that. So
I'd like a Josh Hart on this team.
Josh Hart would be awesome.
Imagine you had Halliburton and Josh Hart.
You can do that,
I
sign me
know.
up. I'm in.
Yeah.